Hi, Leo Drinkerinos. It's another episode of the Idaho Booze Podcast with me, Steve Kuntz. Today, we are talking to Mark Pasculli of Rolling Hills Vineyards and Winery up there in Eagle. It's going to be a cool conversation. Mark is a really awesome dude, and his wines are fantastic. And we're going to talk all about how his winery kind of came to be, the interesting family history he has there, and what they're doing that's just a little bit different than what other wineries are doing in the state of Idaho. Also, we're going to talk about we're going to go into the Boise Beer Buddies community calendar, and then I have a mini craft beer is dead. I'm not sure it's a full craft beer is dead. We'll see when we get there. All up today on the Idaho Booze Podcast. This show brought to you by Trucks and Auto Auctions in Nampa. Car payments suck. They do. At Trucks and Auto Nampa, we're auctioning off vehicles every other week at prices that you won't believe. Trucks and Auto Nampa gets its inventory from all over the Treasure Valley, including used cop cars, city vehicles, bank repos, and other vehicles that are ready and willing to be your next car, truck, or SUV. Sign up is free and auctions happen every other Thursday at trucksandautonampa.com. Get out of your car payment and into a great ride with Trucks and Auto Nampa today. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I am your host, Steve Kuntz, and I'm really sorry. You know what? It's American Craft Beer Week this week, and I don't have a beer guest on for you today. We had a scheduling conflict with the guy I was going to have on, so we'll get him on the show hopefully in the next week or two, and it should be a really awesome show. I actually have a couple of shows planned coming up that are going to be really fun for our beer nerds out there. I've got some things that I'm working on. It's going to be a very fun summer for us here on the Idaho Booze Podcast. We're going to do a lot of fun shows. We're going to have a lot of cool guests on in beer, wine, liquor, and etc. So very excited about what's coming up. But today, I just found out just recently that it was American Craft Beer Week. I'm not on top of these things like I should be, probably because I don't work for a brewery anymore. But I did see something that kind of bugged me the other day, and it was Sierra Nevada. They're selling this new Pilsner Pils in Red Bull cans, which it's just, I don't know what to do with this information. I feel like, and I've always felt this way, and maybe I'm wrong, and you guys have maybe seen my article that I wrote, my Craft Beer is Dead article about IPA being bum beer now, which a lot of people thought was funny because it is, and a lot of people got mad at it, which is fine too. You can get mad at it. It's all right. But I don't understand why you would put Pilsners in a smaller can. I get the Michelob Ultra thing. So Michelob Ultra also sells their Pilsner, whatever that beer is, light lager, ultra light lager, whatever you want to call it. That's in Red Bull cans. I get that because that beer is marketed towards like the weird, we want to stay in shape, but also drink tons of beer crowd, which is a weird crowd. But that's who it's marketed towards. It's marketed towards people that want to go on a run and then drink Michelob Ultra and then finish their run. And in order to better drink a Michelob Ultra, you want it in a smaller can because it's not very good. So you just want to get it down, get the tiniest little hummingbirds sort of buzz on, and then get going with your day. But I don't understand for the life of me why Sierra Nevada would put its Pilsner, its new Pils. It's called Pils. They used to have a really good Pilsner, Pivo, which I don't think they have anymore, but this is their new Pils. And I'm sure it's a great beer. I mean, Sierra Nevada, awesome. So I'm just going to kind of talk it out because it's kind of buggy. It's just been bugging me. I went to the gas station near here and was like, okay, I just need a 6-pack of beer. I was going to a thing and I just needed some beer to bring. And I went into the beer cooler and they didn't have anything. It was a lot of like, okay, Ninkasi and some 10 Barrel. They had some stuff. They had a couple Georgetown things. I think they were out of Bodhisattva. I ended up getting Johnny Utah Pale Ale, beside the point. Oh, and I got a Bodhisattva bum beer, 16.2 or whatever it was. But there in the corner next to Sierra Nevada Pale Ale was this Pils. And I was like, ooh, Sierra Nevada Pils. I'm in on that. So I grabbed it and then I saw, 8.3 or 8.5 or whatever it was ounce cans. And it immediately turned me off. So I'm just trying to figure out why they would go, and it was an 8-pack. So I'm not mad about like the and the cost was the same. That was another thing that bugged me. The cost was the same as all the other stuff, all the IPAs and everything else. It was like $12.99 or whatever it was. So it's an 8-pack, so that's not really that big of a deal, right? Like an 8-pack of 8-ounce. If you want to do that thing, if you want to be the lady on the floor looking through the milk for the expiration dates, that's fine. You can do that. I am not doing that. That is not where I live. I don't really look at price like that. I look at it more as sort of what the beer is, who it's made from, the quality. I don't really look at alcohol content. I don't really look at price per ounce or anything like that. I'm more about what it is inside the box. And I know the Sierra Nevada Pils is going to be good, but I don't like that they're doing this thing where you kind of have to think about it a little bit and do a little bit of math to come up with the right answer, which is, I don't want beer in a Red Bull can. That's me. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know why you would, but I just don't like it. And I get what it is. So what this is Sierra Nevada during this like great reset portion of the craft beer sort of life cycle, where a lot of breweries are closing. A lot of breweries are trying to figure out how to get new customers when there are not really a whole lot of new customers out there due to a lot of factors, actually, not just, one thing or the other. So New Belgium came out with these like little slammers. I forget what they're called. They're like little 8-ounce cans, but they were like squat 12-ounce cans. They're kind of cool looking, but I don't know why you'd want that either. Other breweries are doing the same thing with like 16.2s, right? So we talked about that with the bum beer thing. And they're doing other larger format cans. So 16-ounce cans are pretty important. Or 19.2s. I'm sorry, not 16.2s, 19.2s. So they're doing 19.2s with the higher alcohol stuff, and they're able to sell that at a lower rate for whatever reason, probably because of economy of scale, I imagine. So, they're trying to separate themselves out by putting something out in the market that's different than 6-pack 12-ounce can. And my argument to that would be 6-pack 12-ounce can kind of works. People are sort of used to it. They like it. I don't know that a lot of people go out of their way to look for beers in a weird package and buy it for that reason. But these guys, they have a lot of money. They have a lot of access to analytics and stuff that I don't. So maybe it is true. Maybe people really do like these weird formats better than they like 6-pack 12-ounce cans. I couldn't really say for sure. I always look at it like this. Like I actually think that bigger is better in any situation, especially when it comes to when you're selling like this sort of low alcohol Pilsner thing. And I get that they're trying to go after that market share that Michelob Ultra might have or whatever it is. But I mean, there's something to be said for also just believing in your product, right? So I would think that, Sierra Nevada would do much better with 16-ounce cans, a 6-pack of 16-ounce cans, as opposed to these Red Bull cans. I just don't understand the customer angle. I don't understand why it's better for us to buy Red Bull cans of Sierra Nevada Pilsner rather than maybe a 12-ounce or a 16-ounce can of it. Maybe you think different. Maybe you think the Red Bull cans are cool. Maybe you think that that's the way to go. And if you do, you know what? Drop me a line. Let me know what you think. IdahoBoozPod@gmail.com. Like I said, it is Craft Beer Week, so I want to get on to something good. I want to share... kind of do a story time, I guess, about the time that I put on a tap takeover at Edge Brewing Company. So it was Craft Beer Week, and I wanted to do a whole week of events at the brewery. So we had, I think that year we did a wing challenge with Powder House. We did a new like a food pairing with our beer. We did a new beer release, I think 2 out of the 5 days. So we had one day, it was like a Tuesday where the restaurant team really wanted to do something and the management team really wanted to do something big on Tuesday, because Tuesday was typically like the least visited day of the week. So I didn't really pitch to anybody. It was just to myself, really, because I was head sales marketing. I was like, you know what? I think it'd be cool to put together a tap takeover at Edge, and I think it'd be cool to do it with a big brewery, and I think it would be really cool to do it with New Belgium. And the reason I thought that was because at the time, New Belgium was doing a lot of really fun beers that got people really excited about Belgian beer, about different sort of formats of beer. A great example, Shift, which is their hoppy lager. That was kind of the first hoppy lager that was like a big deal that was out and about. that you could get. They were doing like a lot of really fun beers, and also people knew who New Belgium was. They're fairly, a popular brand. They were doing some IPAs that were starting to gain some traction. I think Ranger was out and maybe some other stuff like that. So I got with Jeff Prosser and I talked about it with him. I don't know, maybe a month or two, maybe 3 months even before we even started planning it out. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months. And Prosser and I went over everything. We put together an awesome tap list. He was able to get all these awesome kegs for me. I know we had La Folie, we had Transatlantic Creek, we had Shift, we had a bunch of these just awesome beers that were out for New Belgium at the time. I think there was a Belgian brown ale, and everyone was against it. All the people at Edge, like the owner was against it. He really hated it. Because he had to buy beer from Hayden, which is funny. Restaurant manager hated it. Change wasn't a big thing with him anyway. And he didn't want to have to cook food for New Belgium for whatever reason. And most importantly, the brewers hated it because I was putting different beer on our taps that wasn't their beer. They really hated that. But what I told them all I told them all pretty much the same thing. I was like, look, we have people in all the time that are here for our beers. Our beers are selling really well. We're doing really well in the market. We have a good market share. We're doing well at Albertsons. We're doing well at Costco. I said, why don't we open our doors up to people that haven't had us before? This is a good idea. Find people that haven't tried Edge. Find New Belgium fans that haven't tried Edge that maybe would be willing to go to Edge and try our beers at Edge if they can also get a beer that they know and love, like Fat Tire or Shift or Ranger IPA. And again, I didn't really have to pitch it to anyone. I just kind of had to explain it really because it was going to happen. I mean, regardless, I wasn't going to not do it. It was an awesome idea. And it was a complete success. It was awesome. The bar was packed on a Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that. And we kicked every single one of the kegs we bought for that, except for one perfect 10-ounce pour of Transatlantic Creek, which I got to drink at 8 a.m. the next morning. I was really excited about that. And the reason why it was a great event wasn't just because it did well. It wasn't just because people showed up, because a lot of people showed up. It was awesome. We had a wait. Tables were full. Bar was full. It was really good. I think they cooked some special food for some of the beers. I know there was there was some sort of thing with the Transatlantic Creek that was like I think it was a dessert maybe even. Anyway, my memory is not as good as it used to be. Or maybe it's just as good as it always was. I can't remember. So it was a great event because it did everything that craft beer was supposed to do when all those founding fathers of craft beer set out to do this thing, which is it showcased camaraderie between breweries. It gave people who came to Edge the opportunity to try other beers that maybe they hadn't had or maybe they heard of but never had. It also was the opposite was also true, which is people that knew of New Belgium beers came to Edge to try Edge beers along with the New Belgium beers that they were able to try, which really was the secret sauce to the whole thing. It really did. We really had so many people there that had never heard of us before. I was there, and I can't tell you how many tables I went and talked to that said they'd never heard of us. They didn't know we were out there. They didn't know that we were right by the mall. They were going to come back. The wings are awesome, all this stuff. It really did expand our little empire as much as it could. It gave our employees the chance to see a good event happen at the building. So I'm not just talking about like whoever I had selling for me or the brewers or whoever else that was usually out at Beer Fest, but like our servers, our management team, our cooks, everybody that usually was just stuck at the brewery all the time, got to see an amazing event happen right there at the brewery that was like between a couple of different breweries. It was really cool. And what that did was it expanded their horizons because our cooks also got to put together a pairing with some of the beers, which was amazing because they had only really cooked with our beers before. So when you only cook with one brewery's beers, you kind of, there's like, you develop like a house flavor, or you have beers that are kind of similar, or you have IPAs that are built the same way most of the time. And so it doesn't really give them a chance to kind of explore their creative space, which is in the food. And they got to do that here because I brought in 3 or 4 Belgian beers along with a light hoppy lager and an IPA and an amber that they had never seen before or worked with. So they got, I think they put Fat Tire, I think it was in some sort of sauce or something, maybe It was in a marinade. I can't remember, but we had fat tire or something. We had all these things. It was just a really, really cool thing to see them get excited to work with a new kind of a new beer that they never worked with before. And the most important thing is I got to hang out with Jeff Prosser all night, which was amazing. I love Prosser. He's a great dude. He's been working for New Belgium forever, and he's just an awesome guy. If you don't know who he is in the craft beer community, next time there's a New Belgium event, I bet he'll be there. And you should go say hi to him because he's a hell of a nice fucking guy. And he was nice enough to get those kegs for us. And we got to have that awesome event, which was a really good event. It went off. And I'm happy to say that that's a craft beer, American Craft Beer Week memory that I really cherish. I really had a great time putting on that event with Jeff. And I had a great time at the event as well. It was super fun getting to see all these people that had never been to our brewery before get to kind of live that life. And so, yeah, that was an American Craft Beer Week memory that I really liked. That was a fun week. We had a lot of events. I think we did something every day, like I said. And you know, it really showed off that kind of spirit that craft beer is all about. On another note, we have a really, really awesome guest today, Mark Pasculli. He owns Rolling Hills Vineyards and Winery, the vineyard up in Eagle, the winery out in Garden City. And he's going to be on to talk all about his winery, how he's doing things a little bit different there, and how his sort of background and his wife's background has influenced what they're doing over there at Rolling Hills. And all that is coming up next. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I'm Steve Kuntz. We're here with Mark Pasculli. Mark, how are we doing today?
Good, Steve. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. This is going to be fun.
I hope so.
I'm looking forward to the questions you ask. You feel free to ask any question you want, and I'll do my best to answer it.
All right. Sounds good, Mark. Mark, I should say, is the owner of Rolling Hills Vineyards or Winery? Winery and Vineyards?
It's Rolling Hills Vineyard.
Vineyard.
And our vineyard's in the Eagle foothills.
Mm-hmm.
And our tasting room is in Garden City. And so we do refer to the tasting room as the Rolling Hills Urban Tasting Room. And then we have the Rolling Hills Vineyard that's in Eagle in the foothills.
So it's an interesting setup that you guys have here because you do have the urban tasting room away from the vineyard, I would guess on purpose, and I can guess why. But let's talk about the tasting room really quick. It's a beautiful tasting room. I always say that this one is the one in Garden City that's most like a one you would find like in Solvang or something like that,
nice.
Right?
Very nice.
So
beautiful area, Solvang.
Solvang, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Terrible name.
Yeah.
Yes. Gorgeous area.
Yeah.
So what went into sort of building this? What were your kind of thoughts? What was your sort of like inspiration behind this winery?
Wow, there's a lot there. So I'll kind of give a brief, overview. My wife was raised on a vineyard in California, and both of our families have been directly and indirectly involved in agriculture basically our whole lives. When we lived in California, we farmed peaches and pluots, which is a hybrid of a plum and an apricot.
Yeah, and like an unholy union.
Yeah. And so when we moved to Idaho, we moved to McCall, and we lived there for the first 10 years in Idaho.
Makes sense.
And then we moved down to the valley, and we started looking immediately for property we could either put a vineyard on or that had a vineyard. And we couldn't find anything right away, so we lived in the shores for a handful of years. And then we found the property we're on now in 2015 and started negotiating to buy it. It was in a tax foreclosure, so that brought its own issues in the process of buying it. And it had almost 3 acres of Cab Franc planted in the front of the property, and then we've added Tempranillo and Syrah on the back. And so we rehabilitated the vineyard, and at first the thought was, well, we were just going to grow the wine grapes and sell them. And then shortly thereafter, we decided to get into the winemaking. Did some studying at UC Davis through the enology program, and we got into winemaking. So it's really been a part of my wife's life, her whole life. And then, my family's from Italy, and so you get the little old men in the basement with the boots, and they're making their own wine in the basement. So.
In France it's tall, skinny men in the basement. Yeah. In Italy, it's the little man, the shorter guys. Yeah.
So, people,
but better hair.
People always ask me how I got to be 6 foot tall, and I tell them I don't really know.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, that's true. That's a great point. Because I don't know who my dad was adopted, so I have no idea what I am.
Oh, okay.
I was dating an Italian girl one time, and I said, because I cook really good Italian food. I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm Italian. She's like, you're not. You're not.
She told you, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
So it was just kind of a natural transition that we made. It was always a passion of ours. We spent a lot of time in the wine countries in California, and so it's something that we really, really always wanted to do, at least as far as living on a vineyard. And then we made the whether it was insane jump to winemaking or whatever you want to call it, but we did it, and it's worked out very well.
I would say it's delicious. It was a delicious jump to winemaking.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So you guys had to not resurrect, but you had to sort of rebuild the vineyard out there. Or you had to sort of bring it back? Is that what the story is?
Yeah, it was still producing. It was still in production, but it was low production. It just wasn't really being cared for because, like I said, the property was in foreclosure. So the vineyard was kind of rough, so we had to do some rehabilitation to it, and it's been a real blessing. I mean, that Cab Franc block has produced some of the very best wines that we've made.
Yeah.
I think it produces some of I personally think the very best Cab Franc in the state of Idaho. But it's been a great site for that, and that block has done really, really well. And
that is a ton of space for one block. 3 acres is a lot.
Yeah, in our region it is. I mean, if you go to Washington and California, 3 acres in a block is a rounding error.
I'm talking about just for the Eagle Foothills.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 acres, that's a lot. I mean, there's no horses on that property. There's no dressage training, nothing like that happening. No. You're kind of a weirdo in the neighborhood, Mark.
Well, I've been a weirdo in other places, too.
I'm actually here to talk to you about it. They sent me from the Eagle Housing District.
Yeah.
Your HOA they're going to file some paperwork.
Fortunately, thank God there's no HOAs in the area.
Yeah,
so,
that's why Eagle rules.
Yeah.
Eagle rules, no HOAs.
No HOAs. So.
That's good because some of the horse people are getting kind of antsy about that. So you guys have all this Cab Franc. You do. I guess do you use all of it here, or are you able to sell some of that too?
No, we consume and use all the Cab Franc ourselves.
And it's still 3 acres.
Yeah, and it'll produce. It'll typically produce in a low year. It'll produce 2.5 tons, but it's produced up to 3.5 tons an acre. So it produces a fair amount of Cab Franc.
3.5 tons an acre. Mm-hmm. How many cases did you guys sell here last year?
Oh, so we sell about 2,000 cases a year.
And how many cases is 3.5? 2.5 tons an acre times 3. So as far as I know, that's like 7.5 tons.
Yeah, it'll do about 160 gallons an acre.
It's a lot of vino.
It's a lot of wine. And so, but our Cab Franc is one of our biggest sellers, and we also put it in a blend. We have a Bordeaux blend we make. We have Malbec, Merlot, and Cab Franc, so it's always in a Bordeaux blend. And we've done other things too. We've made rosés with it.
Yeah.
With sections of the Cab Franc, and we've actually made. We have a traditional method sparkling wine called Brut Briosa that is made from Cab Franc.
Yep.
So we've done some other fun things with it, but we consume all of it.
I have a Brut Briosa in my fridge right now.
Oh, nice.
For when I'm done writing my book, that is what I'm going to go to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice, yeah.
So you guys do a lot of awesome stuff with that Cab Franc here. You guys, I imagine you've won a few awards for it. Like, what's that like when you're just starting out? So it's your first vineyard, as far as I can tell. First vineyard?
Yeah, first vineyard.
And you already have this Cab Franc already planned. Like, did you know that it was any good, or did you have someone come out and tell you it was good, or how did that sort of work? Because I moved to a farmhouse in Twin Falls, and we had a couple of vines of white grapes, and they were terrible. I don't think they would have made anything good.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the birds
as far as the people that were working the vineyard at that time, you knew the vineyard was good. You knew it had good potential. It was in a really good spot.
Yeah.
That area is really great. There's other vineyards around us that do really well and produce really good fruit. So you knew the area could produce good fruit, and the varietal does well in the area. And so that makes a big difference too. So, we were pretty confident and pretty naive at the same time. So,
yeah,
that's
a good mix.
I guess really in some ways, if you want to be honest, it's one of those situations where you went into it, and if you probably knew everything you know now, you would made a lot of different decisions along the way. But but that's part of taking risk and being adventurous and putting yourself out there. So
I mean, little did you know there were 461 ways to make a Cab Franc. I mean,
yeah, well,
and
we were really fortunate. Our first release of Cab Franc was in 2018. It was the first gold medal we won.
Wow.
And so, that was really, really exhilarating to have that happen. And then, the thought starts happening of, okay, well, we have to keep replicating this over and over again. And so yeah, but I've come to love Cab Franc. It's personally one of my favorite varietals. So it's been a lot of fun having
What's sort of the difference between, I guess, let's just to sort of continue with the Cab Franc. What's sort of the difference between a Cab Franc? Because most people are like, oh, it's Cab. I'm like, well, no, Cab Franc is different than Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon is what everybody refers to as Cab, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between Cab Sauv and Cab Franc?
Well, I would say the primary difference is, it's interesting when you're in the vineyard because Cab Franc, when it's ripening, the flesh of the juice, when it starts to go into veraison and starts to ripen, has a slight tint of almost a limeish color.
Yeah, it's like green.
And because Cab Franc is known for its peppery tones. And so that's one of the biggest distinguishing factors that it has from like a Cab Sauv. And then it kind of goes through a translucent and then almost like a dirty brown color in the flesh tone, and then it starts to take its color. It gets most of its color in the wine from the contact during fermentation.
You mean with the contact with skins?
It's contact with the skins during fermentation. So, Cab Franc is just really known for its, the peppery components of it. We're able to here, since it's warm enough, and the way we manage the vineyard, we're able to ripen enough of the green parts of that peppery to where it's just more of a peppery type.
So when you say peppery, so like what I hear is sort of like Syrah, like black pepper, white pepper, like that. But what you're saying is it's more vegetal, like green.
It's more like a bell pepper. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will definitely pick up notes of bell pepper when it's young during veraison.
Okay.
Before it's ripening. I mean, it'll be right there on the nose.
And you're using another big word there, veraison. That means while it's ripening.
Yeah, while it's ripening. Okay. Yeah, where it's basically, it's in the home stretch. It's last 6 or 8.
My listeners are much smarter than I am, but I like little words that that I can spell like on my Scrabble app.
Yeah,
like, those are my favorite.
It's when the little
words.
Green berries start to turn
perfect. Thank
purple.
you so much, Mark. Yes.
So
we finally are on the same page.
So yeah, and a very, very interesting thing about Cab Franc is that it's one of the parent of Cab Sauv.
Mm-hmm.
So the parents of Cab Sauv are Cab Franc and Sauvignon Blanc, believe it or not. A lot of people get surprised that a white is one of the genetic parents of the
specifically
Cab
that
Sauv.
one, because it doesn't really have any of the flavors that Cab Sauv does.
God works in strange ways.
Seriously.
And so it's also a parent of Merlot.
Okay.
And it's also a parent of Carmenere, which is a...
Man, Sauvignon Blanc gets around.
No, Cab Franc.
Oh, Cab Franc. The Cab Franc Carmenere thing, I can see that's a complete line.
Yeah.
It's like that vegetal flavor, that pepper.
Yeah, so to me, Carmenere is a mellow version of Cab Franc.
Oh, interesting.
And at least from my perspective. And then, like I said, it's also a parent of Merlot. So I always kind of refer to Cab Franc as the grandfather, one of the grandfathers of a lot of the popular Bordeaux blends in the U.S. or the Bordeaux varietals in the U.S. So it's very versatile. It's more towards the medium body versus the heavy body of like a Cab Sauv, but it plays nice with just a full range of foods from fish to steak, anything that's Mediterranean, anything that has spice. So it's a very versatile red, and it's really finding its own there's more people bottling single varietal Cab Francs.
Yeah.
And we don't blend anything in it. It's 100% Cab Franc.
Yeah. So so let's just run through the wines that you make with it. So the first one is the 100% single varietal, right? And that right now, I guess you probably have a 2023, I would imagine.
Yeah, the 2023 is the one we're selling right now.
And so,
Yeah.
well, who's your winemaker, first of all?
I am.
Oh, you do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations.
Well, thank
all
you.
those gold medals. So you're making the wine. So you have the winery, I guess, is out by your house somewhere out.
No, actually,
is
the winery's out. It's we actually make our wine in the old Sawtooth Winery out in
Talaya.
out in the Sunny Scope. Yeah, yeah. We actually
Okay.
have a rotating proprietorship license with Talaya out in that facility.
Awesome. Yeah, Earl. He's a friend of the show.
Yeah,
We love Earl.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been great
So
being out
Sawtooth,
there
you're
with
at
Earl,
Sawtooth.
and so we're at Sawtooth. Yeah.
Cool. So you guys are out there making wine, having fun, wearing flannels. Everything's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
So how long do you throw it in the barrels? What's your kind of thought on sort of this new? There's been like a new thing now where a lot of, not a lot, but I've just read an article on it. I don't even know if it's happening here. I know it's not actually. Of a lot of newer wines, like Beaujolais style wines.
Yeah.
Is that something you could see doing with the Cab Franc, maybe as a different expression? Because you have so much of it.
Yeah. That's actually, I've never really thought of that. I don't really know if I, on my own, would have thought to age Cab Franc in steel.
That's why I'm here, Mark.
To oak. Yeah, thanks, Steve. But yeah, there is somewhat of a trend, and I think it's a positive trend that where some winemakers are making their red wines instead of oak aging them, they're just aging them in steel, and it's much more fruit forward. They are ready to bottle in a matter of months.
Yeah.
It's very fresh. It's a different style, but I think that's the great thing about the wine industry. It's going through such a transition with the impacts that are going on in Washington and California, where there's really, really some struggles in industry in those states.
So what are I think I have a pretty good idea because I've been coming to your winery now for, I don't know, a year or so, about a year and a half, something like that. So I've had a lot of your guys' wine, but I think what's interesting about winemakers is that, and we've had a few on the show, and each one kind of has, I think that they make their wines based on what they like. So what do you kind of like, and what do you look for when you're sort of trying different wines, maybe not your own, but other people's wines? What do you kind of gravitate towards?
Well, that is an interesting thing because, the cheapest wine we can literally drink is our own, and we do like it. It is good.
Speak for yourself.
But,
Tempranillo is like $42.
Well, but what we do a lot is, you do tend to drink, like at home, you rarely drink your own wine.
Right.
You do a lot of experimentation. My wife buys all the wine we have at home. It's from all over the world. It's from all different regions in the U.S., and it's all different varietals, all different styles. And, I kind of have a concern of, eating your own cooking too much.
Yeah.
And kind of getting palate fatigue.
This happens at breweries all the time. Man.
Yeah. So, I mean, from that standpoint, you really try to, be adventurous in that way. I mean, I guess, because people always ask me too, well, what's your favorite wine? And I mean, I say, well, I don't really have one. And then, you kind of get a hard time about it.
We're not going to put up with that kind of crap.
Well,
on this.
yeah.
That shit's not going to fly here, Mark.
I'll give you some sort of answer to that at some point.
I'm not leaving.
But, okay, I'll make one up then.
Perfect. Hey, I make up most of this show.
Yeah. So, but I do really enjoy, just reds that are just flat out fruit forward and almost, berry bombs. And I, enjoy, very complex, structured, high tannin red wines. So, I do kind of run the gamut. White wines, I'm a big fan of white wines too, and rosé. So, I don't really fit into, well, you're just like a red wine drinker or.
Yeah, Mark and I just like to drink. What's the problem?
Well, I
don't see the big problem with
I like
it.
Whiskey. I like tequila. So
damn, Mark, I think we just became best friends.
so
I tell people that I actually got shit from a friend of mine the other day because I told him I was drinking white wine. I was like, and he's like, white wine? Why white wine? I'm like, I like white. Like the first wine I ever fell in love with was sparkling like a lightly frizzante.
Oh,
no, it was like a frizzante Italian, like a it was probably like a. Like an organic, like non-filtered, whatever. But I don't know. I drank it in Italy.
Yeah.
And it was frizzante. It was delicious.
Gateway wine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It tasted like pears and apples. And it was awesome.
Riesling's another gateway wine.
Riesling's nice. We have I don't know. Do you guys have a Riesling on the menu right now?
No, we don't. We used to have Riesling. We stopped.
Because dry Riesling is pretty nice thing. I like. I prefer it to Chardonnay myself.
Yeah, and we've even cut back on the production of our Cab Sauv.
Yeah,
because I enjoy more the non-traditional varietals. Like, we do the Cab Franc, we do Carmenere, we do Petit Verdot, we do Tempranillo, Sangiovese. We're bringing in in July we'll have our first release of Dolcetto. Whoa. So I've really enjoyed, and I think a lot of the people in the wine clubs and people that come in the tasting room, they like the experience of being able to have varietals that maybe aren't the ones that you see in the grocery store that are taking up 3/4 of the shelf space.
That was the thing I noticed the first time I came in here it was a lot of vowels at the end of the names of the wines, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
And I really loved the Sangio and the Tempranillo were the first two and the Cab Franc.
Yeah.
So we came here, we told whoever, I think it was her, she was our server, and we were like, we've never been here, we'd like to try whatever.
Right.
And so we got flights or whatever it was. And so that I guess that maybe that lends to maybe sort of your background, or how did you just find all these varietals because they were ones you really loved, or how did that kind of work? Because you do have some different ones.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of it was, the Tempranillo, I'll be completely honest with you, I fell in love with Tempranillo when I had one of Cinder's Tempranillos.
Yeah.
And that's actually literally what partly drove us to plant the Tempranillo we have.
Wow.
So, totally honest, that was my introduction to Tempranillo. The Italian varietals I've been introduced to for a good part of my life.
Sure.
So,
since you were like 12.
And so, and so from that standpoint, they are the ones that I do really truly enjoy them. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I really appreciate, like we do a GSM blend, and I really appreciate the Rhone varietals and the Bordeaux varietals. So really, the introduction to the, kind of the more Spanish varietals was really, new to me. Now, the other thing, too, I will say that's fun about Idaho is since there are smaller blocks planted, you do get a lot more kind of adventurousness as far as, growers will put in, smaller blocks of different varietals. So you do get a good diversity of varietals here that you don't necessarily always see in other regions. And I think that a lot of people have excelled. There's a lot of fantastic winemakers in Idaho. The wine just keeps getting, better and better as the years go by. And I think there's a lot of diversity in what we grow and make. And people have really dialed in on what's good in the area and how to make it work.
Yeah, and what are there? So you have Sangio on, you have Cab Franc. Do you? Yeah, and I do want to talk about the GSM here in a minute because that's a pretty cool program, and it's really really good. But have you seen some of the other stuff that like Veer has, like Barbera, and there's like some Nebbiolos out there? Is there anything that you've either looked to contract or you've looked for those grapes, or anything that's kind of on your wish list of wines that you want to do?
Yeah, so on my wish was Dolcetto, and it's just not really grown a lot in Idaho.
Oh, okay. So you found Dolcetto here?
It's from Washington.
Okay.
And but I was dead set on getting Dolcetto, and there was a vineyard in Washington that I was locked in on getting it from, and contract came open, so I took it. So that's the only varietal we get from Washington. And again, full transparency, we don't make oak Chardonnay because I don't like oak Chardonnay.
Hey.
All our Chardonnay is unoaked.
Music to my ears.
Truthfully, I'm not a huge fan of Barbera or Nebbiolo.
Okay.
And not that, everything Will makes at Vera is awesome because Will's awesome. So, and I sincerely mean that. But I've really said, okay, if it's not something I truly like on my own, I will steer away from some varietals.
Best way to do it. I mean, why else would you have your own winery if you couldn't make the stuff that you like?
So, so as far as those Italian varietals, I'm not the biggest fan.
Talk to me about Dolcetto. I don't know that I've ever heard of it. I don't know that I've had it. Maybe I have.
It's not a very. It's a very fruit forward, fun, light red wine. It's very fruity. It's kind of low on the tannins, and it'll barrel age quickly. It's very approachable. Good with a lot of different foods. To me, it's the type of red wine where it doesn't require food to really accentuate it. So, and it's just one that I've always really, really liked.
Right on.
And so from that standpoint, it was kind of an easy decision for me. And, I'm looking forward to it because it's not real common around here.
Yeah.
And so I'm interested. I'm really looking forward to introducing it to the members. And
does anybody does anyone do one? I haven't.
I think there's a few small blocks.
Okay.
I wouldn't really be able to say right now who is bottling it,
and that'll be in July. So
it'll be July
in my summer.
Yes, in your summer allotment.
My summer allotment.
Well, it'll probably be released later in the summer because it'll let it bottle age for a while. So
okay,
because it'll probably be bottled the end of June, beginning of July.
Nice. So we got Dolcetto coming out. We're excited about that. It looks like the Tempranillo is about gone as well. Let's talk about your Tempranillo because this is a wine I think. When I first started writing the book, my whole thing was GSM. I was like, GSM should be Idaho's wine because I love it. I think I don't know that I've had one that I don't like. I mean, right. I just think they're all like pretty good. They're approachable. They can age if you want them to, but they don't have to. And the issue that I guess we run into with that thesis is that Grenache doesn't grow. We don't have a lot of Grenache, but we do have a lot of Tempranillo, and Tempranillo is now, to me, becoming like sort of my go-to for a red wine. Like, I just really enjoy the sort of darkness of the grape. So to let everyone know, like, I'll let you talk about it because I can't really say much to it. All I can say is that I like it. Yeah. And then, I mean, I can say more, but I don't want to because I want everyone to think I'm dumb. So tell us about the Tempranillo, yours in particular, and maybe about what are sort of the classic characters of this grape and why it works so well here.
Yeah, well, most people don't realize Tempranillo is the third largest produced red varietal in the world.
What?
And
I did not know that.
And, most of it obviously comes from Spain and then, other regions, whether that's, be South America or South Africa. And it's definitely gained steam and popularity in the U.S. Tempranillo in Spanish means the early one. And so if you look at Idaho and you just take your finger and you go straight across to Europe, we're basically the same, latitude as the Rojo region in Spain and the Tuscany region in Italy. We're actually south of the Bordeaux region and the Rhone region. Yeah. So
maybe kind of with the southern Rhone region almost.
Yeah. So
that's why we grow so much Syrah.
Yeah. And Syrah does awesome here. But so Tempranillo, it's a great varietal here because honestly, one thing at least in my experience of growing it, it's temperamental in the spring. But it does, and for us, it's a little more prone to like spring frost.
I mean, temperamental in our spring isn't saying much. Well, because our spring, like today, it's 75 degrees, and tomorrow it'll be like 38.
Yeah. The Cab Franc is hardier when it comes to
I'm temperamental in our spring.
That's actually a good point. So, but the nice thing about the Tempranillos is it will ripen early. It'll ripen. It's the first, red that we deal with that goes into veraison. So it's the first one that starts to.
So it's not just a clever name, the early one.
Yeah. So it literally, does tend to ripen earlier. The plant, the plant's kind of a beast. It's almost like a prehistoric plant. It wants to go everywhere. Gigantic leaves but Tempranillo it's a complex wine from the standpoint of it has a lot of the dark berry flavors to it, but it also carries some smokiness and earthiness and really kind of leather and tobacco type flavors.
So you just said it. We previously became best friends. So maybe you like cigars. I don't know. Maybe
I love cigars.
Yep, we did. Boom, done and done. God, how have I not seen you?
A very good, wine with cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just, and I heard about it. People had told me about it while I was researching the book. And so I took a bottle of, I don't know, some Tempranillo. I don't think it was yours, someone else's. And,
we'll let it slide.
Yeah. I can't, I only have two. I think my first allotment, all I did was Tempranillo.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They tried to tell me to get like Cab Franc and other things. I was like, no, just give me the Tempranillo. I know what I'm about. And then I got the Briosa and other. Yeah, so anyway, I do really like your guys' Tempranillo, and I probably will take a bottle home with me when I leave here. Anyway, so the cigar smoke aspect to it, and it depends on what the winemaker does with it. Uh-huh. So I've had ones before that are like so I was just having the one from Split Rail the other day, the Bearded Coyote, I think is what it's called, and that one is cool name. A cool name, and it's I think it's Washington grapes, and it's like this big, bold, dark fruit, dark cherry, maybe like macerated strawberry, and like it's stuff like that.
Right.
And then you have one that's like from here, and like yours, or maybe I don't know. I'm blanking on another one. Oh, Cinder. Cinder's a great one because I think Vizcaya. That was the one I was thinking of. Vizcaya.
Yeah.
And you have those ones, and then now comes that smoke, that leather, that tobacco, almost like when you break in a catcher's mitt.
It's rugged. It
is. It's rugged, and it's awesome with cigars. And I thought at first I was like, I don't know if this is going to stand up to the cigar because like there's like a pipe tobacco. It could it's in there somewhere, but no, it does. It stands up to big like Maduros too. Like it stands up to all those things, and it's like if you are not a wine drinker and you're a cigar lover and you only do the cigar with the whiskey, God bless you.
Yeah.
But I'm here for 2 cigars.
Yeah.
And I can't drink that much whiskey.
Well, I used to be able to, but I can't anymore. So I'll have to go with the wine with you too. But it really does. And it is a fun varietal from that standpoint of, and then obviously, through the winemaking process, how you age it and the type of oak you age it.
How does that work? Yeah. So say you have French oak and your neighbor has French oak and you guys use even grapes from the same block. Your wine could come out completely different than your neighbor's wine. How does that
Well,
happen?
there's going to be a lot more than the barrels involved with that. Well, everything, yeah. Well, your fermentation, the intensity of your fermentation, the heat of your fermentation, the type of yeast you use, if you pitch other lees into it or, whatever you're going to do during your fermentation process, that's going to make a big difference. From a pretty simple standpoint, I'm pretty simple. And so it's basically, medium barrels, which is the toasting, and then medium plus, and then heavy. And so as you can imagine, it's how they make the barrel when they smoke it, as far as, a medium one isn't as deep or isn't as, charred the same as a heavy one.
Yeah, so, there's a Connecticut wrapper
right,
all the way up to a Churchill.
It is pretty much analogous to cigars from that standpoint. So, so a varietal like Tempranillo, depending on what it tastes like coming out of the vineyard and after fermentation, you'll start to make decisions of, am I going to throw any heavy oak at it, or is it going to be all medium or medium plus? Like Syrah, a lot of people do it in large format barrels. A lot of times with Syrah, you'll never even, we've never used new oak for Syrah.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really need it. It just needs to go through.
So that's a good thing to talk about. I don't know if people know this, but when you use new oak, that oak has never been soaked, basically. So when you put that wine in there, it just is like splinters and tar and all that stuff, right? Like,
yeah, it depends on the barrel maker, depends on the toasting and all that. But yeah, obviously the first time you use the barrel, you're going to extract more for it.
No, I'm talking about the flavor, not like
You're going to extract more flavors from the wood the first time you use it.
And then so the more you use it, it becomes more mild.
Yes, the barrel will start to change over time as far as the wine's ability to penetrate into the wood and extract those flavors, and that will determine how you're going to age out your barrels and what you're going to age in those barrels. Because like Sangiovese, we do all large format barrels because it doesn't need a lot of contact with the wood. It does its own thing on its own. It works great in large format barrels. So does Syrah. So, you start to make those decisions really based on the varietal and based on really, the yield from that year, what the fruit was like coming out of the vineyard, and then what it's like coming out of fermentation.
So in brewing, so I worked in beer. And so in brewing, and I was basically assigned to a tasting panel like the day I got there, because I have a decent palate. It's okay. And so what we do in brewing is we take each barrel and we assign it a number. So it's a first use, second use, third use. Yeah. And then do you guys do the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically the same way.
Interesting.
So yeah.
How often are you putting new barrels in the winery? Every year or every 3 years?
Yeah, you rotate some in every year.
Okay.
So and then sometimes that's a production issue. Sometimes it's a cash flow issue.
Totally.
And there's other ways,
especially these days,
with oak staves and other ways you can kind of re-inject oak back into a barrel that's been used a handful of times. So
okay.
There's
so
other
you actually
ways.
Put the stave inside the like if you have like a fourth use barrel or something and it just isn't giving you what you want.
Yeah, I mean I've never used them in a new barrel. I don't really think anybody does use them in new barrels. That would be overdoing it. But yeah, as the barrel ages, and then it could be again just the the fruit from that year. You may feel like that fruit needs a little more pick me up, and
then like a large format for you, is that like is it a big Foudre or is it like just a bigger barrel?
No, just a bigger barrel.
So it's like a 50-gallon barrel instead of a 30-gallon barrel or whatever.
Oh no, well basically they're basically 80-gallon barrels.
Okay.
The traditional barrel's a 60.
60.
Yeah.
Okay.
59. I mean,
so that's another thing. That's like 2 barrels.
Yeah.
Like a barrel is 30 gallons.
Yeah.
So, okay. So
no, the standard.
Why is it 30 gallons? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the standard wine barrel is the 59-gallon barrel.
Why? Also, I want to talk about Celsius versus Fahrenheit really quick.
Oh,
this has really been bugging me.
Yeah.
So you're down there at Sawtooth. You're making wine. About how many barrels do you have? Since you guys are so red wine heavy here, I would think there would be a lot of barrels.
Gosh, I'd have to think off the top of my head. Probably about 130, 140.
Wow. And you and Earl are down there banging heads. Because he's got a lot of red wines too.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's more like from a management standpoint, they do the custom crush aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because you can't kind of have two cooks in the kitchen from that standpoint. So as far as managing the flow and the operations and everything, all of his guys do that.
Oh, okay.
So you get into how you're going to ferment the wine, when you're going to rack the wine, what additions you're going to make to the wine. So it's more of a typical custom crush type facility.
Man, I'd love to come down there and check that out sometime. Really quick, I just wanted to touch on the tasting room itself. It's such an awesome atmosphere here. And how do you kind of explain, how did you guys get there? The patio is so nice. It's so gorgeous out there, even though it's on Chinden.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how you're able to create like this amazing patio. So how did that all kind of come together?
Well, I can take zero responsibility for the tasting room.
Perfect.
My wife gets 100% responsibility. She gets 100% of the credit for the tasting room. Yeah, Lori could have been an incredible interior designer. She does everything for us. She has for years. She just has an amazing eye.
Yeah.
And so one thing she was really committed to was a space that that you didn't necessarily feel like you were in Garden City. And not to say that in the wrong way, because we love Garden City. We love being down here.
Yeah.
But she wanted it to, to have more of a intimate, cozy type feeling. And so she was really committed on the patio of how to build it and design it to, make you be able to feel like you could sit out there and not even be in Garden City.
It's like a Gardens of Pompeii situation out there with all the hanging plants and everything. I really love it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and and she loves gardening too, and she does awesome with that. So, and then on the inside of the tasting room, it was kind of, she was kind of committed to how to make it comfortable, but then allow it to kind of flow within the natural design of the building. So, so she's just awesome with stuff like that. So I can take no credit at all for the tasting room.
And then you guys have a really cool list of things available here. Starting with, you guys have some food. You have a option on here that is probably my favorite option that I've seen at any winery. It's just the baguette. I can just get a baguette with salted butter like I'm in France. What the fuck, man? That's awesome.
Bread and butter. You can't beat it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so good. So I will probably be ordering that here in a little bit. And then you have a bunch of these other things like olive boards and meat and cheeses and all that stuff. And that's just like stuff you guys came up with, or did you have someone help you with that?
Again, no. Actually, the name of everything on the menu and the layout of everything, the design of everything, the ingredients of everything, again, that's all Lori. She did all of that.
She's great because I've ordered 1, 2, 3, probably 3 of these meat plates before. Yeah, and they're always great.
Yeah, and she's great at being very particular about the meats, the cheeses. If it were up to me, you would probably have saltines, maybe some nice pretzels.
Chips. Yeah, I'm a potato chip guy with wine. I'm fine with that.
But I could have never concocted anything that's on that menu. But we do get a lot of compliments from it. In the summer, we do have some members too, as they go do different things. Sometimes, like for the Shakespeare Festival and stuff like that, we make boards to go for some of our members.
Oh my God!
So because they like
with a nice briosa,
they like a board to go and go down to the festival.
I'm into that. Maybe I'll get a board to go home.
Yeah.
And then you also right now it looks like you have the slushy machine up and going. So some frosé action.
The frosé machine is starting to crank, and that is kind of interesting too, because the frosé machine again was Lori's idea. I'm a kind of a more traditional wine guy, so I would have never went with a frosé machine.
Yeah.
We sell boatloads of those things, and as soon as it gets above 65 degrees, people are pounding their hand on the table. They want to know when the frosé is coming.
Yeah.
And but she kind of, and my daughter, and then now Carly, who's our tasting room manager, they kind of concoct the recipes for the frosé machine. Cool. If you ask me what's in that other than wine, I have no idea.
I mean, that makes sense because I'm with you. I don't know that I would ever order one, but it looks delicious. And
no, they're good. I'm
sure
them.
It looks amazing. I mean, the color's gorgeous on them. One's like purple, the other one's kind of pink, and I think that's really good. One thing I did not notice until now on the on the menu here, there's a kids menu.
Yeah.
You got the bread and Nutella. I might get that.
Yeah.
Like that sounds pretty good too. And you have some dessert, some nice stuff on. So I want to go through the wines really quick and just quickly. So the game, I told you we're gonna have like a little game.
Okay.
So the game is gonna be I'm gonna name a wine. I'm just gonna go down through your list here, what you have available, and you just use one word to describe it. I mean, you can do that?
I can do that.
You're the winemaker.
Yeah, I can do that.
And you can even say, like, pain in the ass. If if one of them was a real jerk. Let's start with the 2021, the Sangiovese.
Smooth.
That's true. That's a good word. I just had that one. It is really smooth. And, we'll go to your favorite, the Cab Franc.
Versatile.
Okay, the Azzurro Red Blend.
Well done.
Okay, well, you hyphenated that one. Also, a little pat on the back.
Well, no, I mean, you give a lot of credit to the people at winemakers that grow the fruit, because that Azzurro is, always consistent, always good. Now, we do grow the Cab Franc that goes in it, but man, I tell you what, it's a traditional Bordeaux blend, and that's why they exist, because they're good.
Yeah, let the guys back in France in the 1700s work out the blend.
Yeah.
Then we'll take advantage of it out here, right?
Just don't screw it up. That's a don't screw it up blend.
Love it. All right, the Malbec.
Surprising. You want to know why?
Okay.
I'm sometimes not the biggest Malbec fan.
Yeah.
But again, that's another varietal that just does really, really well around here.
I like Malbec.
And-
I'm used to the ones from Argentina, I think, right? That used to be a staple for me for red wine, was that Argentinian kind of Malbec. And I'm finding I'm liking them. The
Yeah.
Idaho ones kind of remind me of those.
You know, the ones here are more handcrafted as opposed to mass produced. And so you'll get some variation in them, more complexity in them, you know, more tannin structure in them. Again, a lot of it is the block of the fruit.
Surprising is a good word, because there are some that you have that are just, that you, like you said, like mass produced, that are just like kind of a fruity, nice red wine that you don't think about it too much. And then, like, I think I had one at maybe, I don't know where it was, and it was like you're saying, like the description on here, it was like a lot. There was a lot there: pepper, tobacco, tannins.
Yeah. When after it bottle aged and was ready to come into the tasting room and everything, I sit down and drink them all before as they settle in the bottle and everything. And I drank that, and I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not like somebody that's going to go somewhere and order Malbec or buy it. And I was really, really happy with that.
Anytime you need help with that process, just,
let you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring the microphone.
Okay.
But yeah, the Tempranillo,
Traditional.
the Syrah,
Syrah.
okay. So I see.
I
what
mean,
you did there.
that's a Syrah.
Now that could be a good or a bad thing.
It's a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because when you say when someone's like, "Hey, what's Mark like?" I'm like, "Oh, Mark's Mark." That's not a nice thing to say.
There is a member that was a part of this group, or is invited to be a part of this group, and they tasted Syrahs from all over Idaho, and ours did very, very well. And there was 30 people that did it, and they brought me the grading and everything. It was kind of amazing. There are a lot of people that I respect around here that make awesome Syrah.
Yeah.
And it's just a fabulous Idaho wine. And the thing that I like about that Syrah is I feel good about that Syrah when I compare it to some of the people that I have the most respect for and how they do.
That's really the
So
best
when
thing
I
to
say it's Syrah, it's all the best things I think that you'd want in a Syrah.
Will from Veer says everybody should drink Syrah.
Yeah, yeah.
Your Zinfandel.
Family.
Is that a California Zin, or is it a
No.
something about Washington?
That's from the Sunny Slope.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, family. That's an interesting word for that.
Well, I mean, kind of that's more, I guess, being Italian, growing up.
Zinfandel.
Yeah, it's a very Italian wine.
Just because it was like, it's big and bold, big red.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about Zinfandel is an interesting character. I know we don't have time to get into it, so I'll just do this briefly.
We have plenty of time.
It's originally, the fruit's originally from Croatia. Then it's made its way over to the Puglia region in Italy, and then it eventually migrated to the U.S. And when it came over to the U.S.,
Did it get signed in at Ellis Island as Zinfandel instead of?
no, they screwed up the
Whatever
name
it's
when it
supposed
came
to be.
into the U.S.
Yeah.
And it made it out to California with this weird name called Zinfandel, and it's stuck ever since. And so, you do have clones of what are Primitivo and Zinfandel. Now, it's from the same genetic rootstock, but they're different clones. And there are differences between Primitivo and Zinfandel. And actually, winemakers is where we buy our Primitivo from. They actually have a block of Primitivo. And so we're going to release the 23 Primitivo later this year. And it's a distinct wine from Zinfandel.
All right. Excited to see that. Cab Sauv.
Boy, this is a podcast, I guess, where I can say anything.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is about Cab Sauv in general.
Yes.
And there's probably going to be some people from the Idaho Wine Commission going to be mad at me because a couple of years ago we had the best cab we won best cab in Idaho.
Uh-huh.
So I'm just going to say it. Overrated.
Oh, wow.
Cab Sauv is overrated to me.
You know, as I've kind of written the book and tasted a lot of wines, Cab Sauv to me has been not my favorite.
So
I don't know why people pay so much for it.
It's out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
So I'm not disrespecting it because I've had a lot of great cabs and I love it and everything, but I do not see it as the 10-pound gorilla in the room in the industry that it's become, and it's a great varietal, but I think there's a little more hype there than there is actually.
There might be a bigger conversation there too, because it grows different. So it grows really well in Northern California, right? Mm-hmm. It grows really, really well. Well, okay, it does not grow particularly, like Washington Cab Sauv is sort of more fruity. It's not like the one, like if you have a Camus, like that thing is going to be just oaky and bursting with like tannins and all this raspberry and like delicate fruit and whatever. The Washington ones are very fruit forward. They're very fruity. They're very kind of, I would call them like round. They're not like really like, the ones here are kind of somewhere in the middle. They're not quite like Washington. They're not quite like, why can't it just be like in France where you just don't grow that there? Like I see, and I only know of 2 vineyards that really do Cab Sauv that do where it ripens before the frost too, because that's the big problem with our Cab Sauv here, right? Like it doesn't ripen until like October.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are definitely some varietals where it. Again, a lot of these are just my personal opinions. If you were to say the difference between California, Washington, Idaho, California is blessed with the fact that it will get 6 to 8 weeks better weather in the spring and 6 to 8 weeks better weather in the fall.
No doubt about it.
Other than that, I think the industry
12 weeks better weather in the winter.
Yeah, and so other than that, I think the regions are very comparable. I think the people that work in the industries in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho are exceptionally talented people. But yeah, there's a natural growing advantage in Cab, or in California. I think that, again, this is my own personal opinion. I think that if you tell somebody enough times that something is good and they should like it, and you bombard them continuously with it, and you take what was otherwise an open mind and close it, they will think it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
And
I think a lot of that has to do with the price at the store, though, too. Like the Cabernet Sauvignons are always the ones that are the most expensive.
Yeah.
So you immediately see that and you're like, well, that's got to be the best one.
Yeah.
Like if you're like a ding dong like me and you're at the store, you're just like, well, I'm going to get something for the party. Like everybody likes Cab.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you. Like, and Mark and I are here together hand in hand and we're saying, look, enough's enough.
Yeah. Figuratively hand in hand.
We were holding hands earlier. We're not anymore.
So hopefully now when Lori listens to this, she doesn't say, I cannot believe you actually said that. But
yeah. No, it's fine. And look, I've learned 2 things. I've learned a lot writing the book, a lot. But one of the things is Cab. I'm just like not all that excited about Cab. I like Tempranillo. I like GSM. Speaking of GSM, let's talk about your mascot thing. And you guys have a really cool program.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain it to us. The mascot this year was a GSM. It was the first time you guys did one?
Yeah, the 2022 release of the mascot is the first time it's been a GSM, and it will remain a GSM from here on out. And,
nice.
So as far as what we do with the mascot, we're massive dog lovers, very dog-friendly tasting room. And, we had a golden retriever. His name was Blue. He was 5 years old, and he got cancer, and he passed away. I'm still heartbroken over it.
That's terrible.
5-6 years later. And but that's why the tasting room is blue. That's why the bottle of the mascot's blue.
My membership is the blue membership.
Blue membership. Everything's designed around really blue. And the other thing we do is we donate a couple times a year. We donate proceeds to a shelter in Idaho for animal shelters that are nonprofits to help them out with their missions and their shelters. And so we're very committed to to doing that. So we're very passionate about the mascot. The other thing we do with the mascot bottle that's kind of fun is the bottle literally is blue.
Yep.
And so we use it as our water glasses. And if you bring back an empty bottle of mascot, we will give you a glass.
No kidding.
So, yeah.
All right. Well,
so
there you go. There you have it, folks.
And as far as the GSM, to me, GSM is, as far as a blend, to me, it's kind of the ultimate teamwork blend from the standpoint of the varietals. The Grenache, the Syrah, and the Mourvedre are very distinct varietals, and they bring completely different things to the table. Yeah. And I think that's what really attributes to the complexity of the GSM and just, the pleasantness of the blend. I think it's a fun blend because I think those three varietals are really distinct, but they really work well together.
That is true. So and with the Bordeaux blend, I mean, if you have like the Merlot and the Cab Franc and the Malbec or whatever the blend is, those grapes all maybe they all are kind of like blackberry or they're all kind of tannic or whatever they are. But Grenache is like this totally like bright, big, kind of maybe sweeter cherry, like that sort of flavor, maybe raspberry. Then you have Syrah, which is classic peppery, blackberry jam sort of thing. And then Mourvedre is like this blueberry, kind of like bright, beautiful wine. And it's funny when you put them all together, you don't really get giant aspects of any of them. They just kind of work as one wine.
Yeah, and the Mourvedre can be very earthy too, also, I find. And so, and again, a lot of it is, when you're looking at them as they're ripening and maturing, just the difference in the skin of the grape, the texture, the color of the flesh of the fruit. It's really amazing how they, kind of combine together and work really well. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that GSM blends, I think, are some of the best blends you'll ever have.
I agree, and it's one of those things where, like I said, I started out with this thesis of like maybe this is the Idaho blend because it's kind of different. You don't really see them anywhere else too much. I mean, you see them maybe Walla Walla a little bit, but not. And they don't ever put it on there. They always just say red blend, and then you have to kind of look it up. But I love that you guys are doing that with the mascot thing. They're basically, trying to make sure that some of these poor doggies that are at shelters and stuff are getting adopted, and getting them homes and everything like that. So make sure that next time you guys come in here to Rolling Hills, you grab a bottle of mascot to go, and then bring it back and get yourself a free glass. That's really cool.
Yeah, we've only ever had one dog in our. Because Laura and I have been married for 37 years, we've actually only ever had one dog that was not a shelter dog.
Oh, wow. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I mean, they're usually awesome.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So, Mark, thanks very much for having me in. Is there anything going on over the summer that you want to talk about? Or anything?
Well, over the summer, we have pizza night once a month, and it is handmade pizza from scratch, sourdough, and it is fabulous pizza.
And you're back here just making that, or is that...
No, actually...
Lori again?
No.
Lori?
Well, our tasting room manager's husband, who's from New Zealand.
Oh, well, that's where pizza was born, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. It makes outstanding pizza.
Connecticut and New Zealand. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. And then the other thing is we've talked to Anzat's, which is one of the Basque restaurants downtown. And we recently had a wine dinner there with them. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. We're talking about doing a couple paella nights with them at the tasting room.
With their big thing, with that big trash can.
With the big paella maker.
I love that.
That thing is massive.
It's huge.
And it's worth just watching it being made.
It really is.
The only thing that's worth more is actually eating it. So
one of the great things, because I think they're the ones they do it on the basket walk, right, with that giant thing. And one of the great moments of my life maybe was when I was just standing there watching them, and a really nice woman just handed me a thing of food and was like, "Here, eat."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to that because that's just a fun group of people. So so the pizza nights and the paella nights.
Nice.
Those will be kind of the highlights of the summer.
Food and wine. Who knew?
Food and wine.
So and you guys are down here in Garden City, or what is this, like 52nd?
So we're on 52nd Street, and I always tell everybody that it's right next to where the old Maverick was. So if you're here long enough, you have to know where the old Maverick was. For people that are newer, it's on 52nd Street.
We'll say this: it's the turn right before you get to the big strip mall that has all the other breweries and wineries and everything else on it.
That's absolutely true.
And it's an absolutely gorgeous place. So, Mark, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it. Yeah. And I can't wait to see what comes next for you guys, because I really do enjoy your wine. I am a member here for a reason, because I do like your wine.
That. Yeah.
And thanks very much for being on. I'll see you over at Sturman's or at the Vault or wherever.
Sounds good. All right, Steve. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And we're going to be right back with, I don't know, something after this. The show brought to you by Boise Beer Buddies. Cost of pints got you down? Be a buddy and join Idaho's premier club for saving big at the bar. You'll get discounts at just about every brewery in the state, plus a lot of your favorite craft beer bars, wineries, and specialty shops that sell your favorite brands. Use my promo code BOOZEPOD and get 2-for-1 cards when you visit BoiseBeerBuddies.com and sign up for your buddy card. Be a buddy and save with Boise Beer Buddies and my promo code BOOZEPOD at BoiseBeerBuddies.com. Welcome back to the Idaho Booze Podcast. I am your host, Steve Koontz, and we are going through the Boise Beer Buddies community calendar. Oh, man. So much stuff going on. Nothing tonight. Looks like just drink craft beverages is what it says. So there you go. Stacy has sent you with walking orders. Tomorrow, though, we have stuff going on Tuesday, May 12th, 4:30 to 6 p.m. Idaho Environmental Forum at White Dog Brewing. Not sure what that means. Sounds like fun. Brewery Yoga at 5:30 at Vantage Point. That's up there in Coeur d'Alene. Love those guys. Hey, Vantage Point, if you're listening, we'd love to get you on the show. Drop us a note. 6 to 8 p.m. There's a paint party going on at Good Apple Tap House. Ooh, maybe I'll go to that. Sounds like a lot of fun. I like Good Apple. I haven't been there in a minute. Maybe go... Maybe if there's a certain Whole Foods guy out there that wants to go check out Good Apple, get that going. 7 to 8:30 p.m. The History of Women in Beer at Old Speak Bar. That's going on tomorrow. That should be a lot of fun. Women in Beer, I'm a big proponent, big fan of it. I had a really awesome woman that brewed for us at Edge, Carrie. She was amazing, and I think there should be more women in beer. That would be good. Besides just in sales. I know a lot of them are in sales, but let's get some more brewing. Why not? Idaho Wholesale Market is happening Wednesday, May 13th. This is with Buy Idaho at Canyon County Fairgrounds. Our old friend Ben working with Buy Idaho, so he'll probably be there. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Idaho Wholesale Market. That's going to be with Buy Idaho at the Canyon County Fairgrounds. That is just right up here in the Namptons. Then we have the at 11 a.m. to all day at Payette. Wow, 15 years. Congratulations, Payette. Mikey, love to get you on the show. You or Paige. You guys should come on the show sometime. Talk about the 15 years at Payette. That would be amazing. Congratulations. That is a hell of an accomplishment. Good job by you guys. 5 to 7 p.m. we have a free tasting with Fall Brewing Company at Brewers Haven. Every Wednesday they have that, I think, 5 to 7. Free tasting, 6 o'clock. On Wednesday, Cat Springs Cellar Raid Wine Social. Wow, so they're going to be raiding the cellar at House of Wine. And then at 6 o'clock, Gold Glove Pint Night at Loose Screw. I don't know what that means, but that sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe I'm doing 2 events this week. It looks like I got the Gold Glove Pint Night at Loose Screw and then Good Apple Tap House. Oh, man, I'm going to be a busy dude. And looks like it can't be first Thursday. Oh, that was last week. Okay, and that's going to do it for the Boise Beer Buddies Community Calendar. Boise Beer Buddies Community Calendar brought to you by Boise Brew Buddies. Boise Brew Buddies, they are doing Be a Buddy. Get your Boise Beer Buddies card today. Why don't you? That's going to do it for the show. I want to thank Mark Pasculli from Rolling Hills. Everybody over there at Rolling Hills. Just an awesome team over there. Great team, great wines. Awesome experience. If you have a chance, go check them out. They're right there on Chinden, there in Garden City, just right before you hit actually where Meriwether and where Brownbeard are, right before that little strip mall. Boom, Rolling Hills. So you could go to Rolling Hills, walk on over to Meriwether, walk on over to Brownbeard, have yourself a nice little afternoon there. I want to thank everybody listening today. Thank you so much. Hey, if you want to sponsor your company on this very show, on this very program, why don't you reach out, idahoboozepod@gmail.com. We would love to get you on the show and get you on as a sponsor, we can do all sorts of different things, price points, yada, yada, yada. We'll get you on. We'll get stuff sold for you. That's what we do here on the pod. Also want to thank Boise Beer Buddies. And thank Trucks and Auto. They have an auction going on this Thursday. Check that out at trucksandautonampa.com. That's going to do it for me. Have a wonderful craft beer week, you guys. I'm sure every brewery is doing something. So go check out their web pages, check out their Facebooks, check out their Pinterest boards. They've got to have Pinterest boards, don't they? I got to think. My guy over there, Colin Rudine at Boise Brewing's got one heck of a Pinterest board. I think it's probably pretty good. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for listening today, and good day and good drinking, everybody.